Tarrant County is expanding its vaccination program. I'll have more for you in a bit.
The story of one woman's journey and how UNT has become her home away from home.
Theater Denton's A Doll House is opening this weekend and looks a little different. We'll explain.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV Nightly News.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Michelle Brooks.
And I'm Victor Villagran.
Okay, Victor, I was really disappointed last week by the lack of rain we got in Denton.
I felt the same way, but honestly, Michelle, when doesn't the Texas weather disappoint? Today hasn't been bad, but I'm ready for those fall temps all the time. Let's head over to our weather anchor, Joy Walden, and get a first look at the weather. Joy?
Thanks, you guys. Yeah, as you can see, it is a beautiful day here in Denton. I cannot wait to get home to take my dog on a walk. He's going to love this weather just as much as I do. If we're taking a look at the temperatures right now, we're sitting at a nice 86 degrees, though it feels a little bit more like 84 degrees because of the low wind speeds, about 10 miles per hour. But as you can see, there's not a cloud in sight. So that's going to stay true for probably about the rest of the week. If we take a look at tonight's temperatures, we'll see we dip down to looking at 69 degrees. It's going to feel just like 69 because we're going to have slow wind speeds and clear skies. Looking in tomorrow, on the other hand, we get a little bit hotter, looking at 87 degrees. It's going to feel a little bit more like 86 degrees because, again, slow wind speeds. But check in later today for the rest of the 7-day forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Joy. Do you need a haircut? I just got one, but I paid $15 for mine. Now, that may not sound like much, but this week, Bladesmith Barber College is offering haircuts for UNT students for only $5. They have student discounts and specials. Today, they took advantage of the nice weather to help out students on campus. They'll be out there all week from 10 a.m. to 3:45 p.m.
Have you gotten your COVID vaccine yet? If not, our reporter Gabriella Evans knows exactly where to get yours. Gabriella?
That's right, Michelle. I'm here at the Tarrant County Pop-Up Vaccination Clinic. They are offering free vaccines all across Tarrant County. You have your choice of Moderna, Pfizer, or the Johnson & Johnson shot. Walk-ins are welcome, but registering online beforehand will save you time. There are pop-ups Monday through Friday from now until December 2nd. If you want more information and would like to see which location is closest to you, go to tarrantcounty.com/vaccination finder. That's all I have. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gabriella. I'm glad to see so many people taking care of their health. Cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are declining, mainly thanks to more people getting their shots. But there are still over 70 million unvaccinated adults in the United States. Hopefully, with 12-year-olds being eligible to be vaccinated, those numbers will continue to go down.
COVID-19 seems to always land at the top of the headlines. Even at UNT, we're still getting updates and programs relating to COVID-19. Neil Samatrusk himself is sending emails to all students regarding what's to come in the second phase. Here are the details.
Just when it feels like there couldn't be any more to talk about COVID-19, something else comes up. UNT's fall COVID-19 mandatory testing program has come to a close, but that doesn't mean COVID-19 has as well. UNT President Neil Samatrusk has officially announced the second phase of the testing protocol, adding on that participation is completely voluntary. During the first phase, 38,275 community members participated. A 90% participation rate from staff and 81% participation rate from students was recorded. It showed 73% of staff was vaccinated and 54% of students was as well. This is pretty close to the 56% vaccinated nationwide and 51% in Texas. During the second testing phase, a computer will randomly generate and choose 2,000 students to get tested within 2 weeks. These students will get an email notifying them of their selection, and they can get tested anywhere on campus. Those students who are selected do not have to be vaccinated and will not be selected again the following semester. The second phase begins today. UNT wants to stay ahead of possible outbreaks with the second phase and is willing to go back to mandatory testing if necessary. While much of Texas is slowing down on how it is dealing with COVID-19, UNT is most definitely not. For more COVID-19 related updates, visit healthalerts.unt.edu.
You may be shocked to hear the price of a tiny home in Boston.
And we'll take a look at why a 251 square foot home is worth so much. Stay with us.
Social media giants in the United States have been under fire recently, in some cases for what they monitored and in some cases for what they don't monitor. A Facebook whistleblower says that the social media powerhouse has chosen revenue over public good.
The Facebook whistleblower coming forward.
There were conflicts of interest between what was good for the public and what was good for Facebook. And Facebook over and over again chose to optimize for its own interests.
Former Facebook product manager Frances Haugen leaked tens of thousands of pages of internal research and documents. She claims they show the social media giant knows the platform is used to spread hate, violence, and misinformation and has tried to hide it.
The version of Facebook that exists today is tearing our societies apart.
Haugen points the finger at the company's algorithm.
Facebook has realized that if they change the algorithm to be safer, people will spend less time on the site, they'll click on less ads, they'll make less money.
After Facebook dissolved her department's civic integrity and turned off misinformation prevention tools post-election, she says she had enough.
They basically said, oh good, we made it through the election, there wasn't riots, we can get rid of civic integrity now. Fast forward a couple months, we got the insurrection.
Facebook is aggressively pushing back.
I think if the assertion is that January the 6th can be explained because of social media, I just think that's ludicrous.
Denying many of Haugen's claims in a statement, saying in part, we continue to make significant improvements to tackle the spread of misinformation and harmful content. To suggest we encourage bad content and do nothing is just not true. In Washington, Isabel Rosales.
On Tuesday, Hogan will testify in front of a Senate subcommittee hearing. Local, state, and national focus was on another major issue this weekend. It was the Women's March, focusing on abortion rights. In Denton, more than 500 women began their march from the courthouse through Quakertown Park and back to the courthouse. It was the same story in Dallas, where a crowd of more than 1,000 people gathered to protest the new anti-abortion law passed last month in Texas. The law bans most abortions after about 6 weeks of pregnancy and is considered one of the nation's most restrictive. And across the nation, thousands more marched while speakers shared their personal experiences and efforts to improve access to abortion rights. It is here at the Supreme Court that the issue of abortion rights will again be decided, whether changed, modified, or left as is. The High Court is set to hear a new case involving this issue, and today demonstrators were on hand to let the justices know their opinions. This court is in session in person for the first time in 19 months and is a more conservative court than in the past few years. 3 of the justices were appointed during the term of GOP President Donald Trump. The abortion case is expected to be heard later this month. Victor, back to you.
An ecological disaster in Southern California this weekend, with 126,000 gallons of oil leaking into the Pacific Ocean. The pipeline breach has spilled into the ocean and flooded the wetlands with oil. Officials are urging the public to avoid the area in order to steer clear of toxic chemicals, while nearby wildlife centers work hard to find and clean the local wildlife. Divers are swimming alongside the 17-mile-long pipeline in search of the cause. Huntington Beach Mayor Kim Carr is devastated by the destruction, but has vowed to fight back and clean up the beaches. And what comes after the beaches in summer? Pumpkins in autumn does, of course. Hey Joy, tell me, I'm right?
Yes, Victor, that is usually right, but it looks like this Texas heat is taking one last swing this week before autumn comes. If we take a look at North Texas temperatures, we'll see that most of North Texas is sitting around 86 to 90 degrees, which is pretty hot for early October. And if we take a look further out into the full Texas map, we'll see that that stays about the same, with slight variation going in to about Oklahoma City. It's a little 84. We go down to Austin, it peaks up at 91 at that Austin City Limits Festival. Taking a look into Denton for the next 7 days, you'll see it is clear for most of this week and hot, except for Thursday, where we'll see some clouds and a bit of lower temperatures. But going into this weekend, we're going to spike right back up to the 90s. So if you guys don't have any plans this weekend, I would plan to go to the pool or the lake, because this might be our last hot weekend of the year. Thank you guys. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Joy. Well, this past year has seen an influx of immigrants hoping to start new lives here in the United States. Many of them have continued their journey as first-generation college students. Tonight, ntTV's Jose Alonso has the story of one migrant who's part of the Mean Green family. Got any plans this weekend? Denton's Theater is showing a dollhouse.
And we've got more on why you should see it. Stay with us.
Michelle. I know for some of my friends, the hardest part of this lockdown was all our local theaters closing.
I know, but lucky for them and the Denton area, plays and musicals are starting to happen again. Robin has more on a new production that is opening this weekend. Robin?
Thanks, guys. The theater has been a home and refuge sorely missed during the pandemic. Thankfully, they are finally starting to reopen, and local community theater, Theater Denton, is among them. Let's see what Lydia Chang has to tell us about their new production, A Doll's House.
The Denton Community Theater will be celebrating its 50th anniversary with the upcoming production A Doll's House, which will be performed beginning next week on the weekends, on the days the 8th to the 10th and the 14th to the 17th.
So as to why A Doll's House, we wanted to, for our 50th season, do shows that we had never done at the theater before, and it is such a wonderful show. And I'm not real sure why we've never done it before, but I'm so glad to be putting it forward to you guys.
The cast in Theater Denton has spent weeks rehearsing for the play, working hard to deliver a phenomenal production that will no doubt leave audiences wondering more about the meaning of their performances.
For a modern audience with Nora's character, the audience should take away a sense of strength from female characters and from being feminine themselves. So my hope, I guess, is that people walk away with a renewed sense of strength in themselves and in their feminine sides and feminine traits, whether they're male or female or other.
But theater is such a wonderful, safe place to fall for people and children, kids, high school, middle school, what have you. So yeah, I love that aspect of it too.
A big thanks to Lydia for her hard work and to Theater Denton for their time. Once again, you can buy tickets to A Doll's House on their website. Maybe I'll see you there. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Robin. You know, there might be another type of theater people can visit this week too.
That's right. You can watch a movie in the stars to celebrate World Space Week. Patrice has more on this week-long holiday.
Thanks, Victor and Michelle. That's right. This week is World Space Week. This week was chosen due to the fact that Sputnik was launched on October 4th back in 1957. I'm here celebrating this week at UNT's Astronomy Center, which offers a nighttime view of the stars. The planetarium, built in 2006, is a state-of-the-art facility where space enthusiasts have been studying the solar system for years. Space Week is a worldwide event focused on celebrating outer space achievements. Get involved with Space Week and tour Planetarium today. That's all I have for you here. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Patrice. Well, this past year has seen an influx of immigrants hoping to start new lives here in the United States. Many of them have continued their journey as first-generation college students. Tonight, ntTV's Jose Alonso has the story of one migrant who is part of the Mean Green family. All right, Michelle, so you hear about that Cowboys game? How'd you feel about that?
I actually got a chance to watch it, and it was a big deal. It was a big game. Our sports anchor, Jennifer Holberg, is here to tell us just why this big was so win.
This win big, Michelle. A Cowboys player may be on the way to making history this year. Also, a look into the NFL history that was made last night. I'll have all that and more coming up. The Mean Green volleyball team won both conference matches against Louisiana Tech this weekend. Between both matches, UNT only dropped one set and picked up their first 2 wins in Conference USA play. Both games were led by senior outside hitter Rhett Robinson. Robinson has led the team in kills for 7 straight games this year, including both games against La Tech, where she racked up 25 and 18 kills. The Mean Green will come home and take on number 9 ranked Baylor this Wednesday at 6 p.m. Now, Tom Brady returned to Foxborough last night, but this time in a different uniform. This was the first time Brady had been back in Gillette Stadium since leaving the Patriots for Tampa Bay. As highly anticipated this game has been, that wasn't the only major event of the night. With roughly 6 minutes left in the first quarter, Tom Brady completed a 28-yard pass to Mike Evans to break the all-time passing yardage record with 80,358 yards. Not only did Brady break the record, but Tampa Bay also won the game. With this win, Tom Brady also becomes the 4th quarterback in NFL history to beat all 32 teams. Now, speaking of NFL and GOAT status, the Dallas Cowboys steamrolled past the Carolina Panthers in a 36-28 win yesterday. The Cowboys' offense was near perfect, with Dak Prescott throwing for 4 touchdowns and the team rushing for a total of 245 yards. Surprisingly, that was not the highlight of this Cowboys team. The Dallas defense has stepped it up this season, producing 5 sacks and 2 interceptions this week. Those 2 interceptions were thanks to cornerback Trayvon Diggs. Including those from yesterday, Diggs has 5 interceptions on the season, which leads the NFL currently. He is on track right now to potentially break the single season record for interceptions. Diggs and the Cowboys look to continue this 3-game win streak at home this Sunday against NFC East rival, the New York Giants. Well, that is all I have for sports tonight, so back to the desk.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. So college apartment life means close quarters and little personal space, and some people actually enjoy the tight living. Tiny houses are gaining interest, and you may be surprised at how much one may cost.
If you're looking for a house with a great location that doesn't take long to clean, welcome to 1295 Boylston Street in Newton Highlands. A wee bit of a house, 251 square feet.
5, 6.
I decided to walk the width of it from wall to wall.
11 steps across. I'm a size 7.
It's a great opportunity for a single person either to get into the housing market, or even someone who maybe lives in the neighborhood looking for a guest house.
Realtor Hans Bring says he's also getting calls from out-of-towners looking for a place to stay when they have to work 2 or 3 days a week in Boston, which makes sense since the house sits right at the juncture of Route 9 and 128, just a stone's throw from the Mass Pike. Inside, all of the amenities have been upgraded, but if you don't like heights, well, forget this bedroom.
It's a completely open space. As I mentioned, it also has a loft, knee-high loft style. Great to throw a mattress up there and maybe a side table, but a short side table.
The bathroom, which is actually the size of a small powder room, does come with a walk-in shower. As for parking, good news. This fenced-in area is as big, if not bigger, than the house itself.
A very small house by all means, but yet at the same time, the least expensive home in Newton by far.
Well, Michelle, you would think that a tiny house would cost a little less than $500,000.
No kidding. I think I'll be staying with my 3x3 apartment situation.
That's unfortunate. Thanks for watching ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow night at 6 here on North Texas Television.